Hey, and welcome to this week's video. Today, we'll be talking about soul calls and really the importance of tuning into ourselves, listening to what our soul is trying to tell us, and acting on the wisdom that we receive. So, I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit about what soul calls are. What do I mean by that? Why they feel so good for you and sometimes uncomfortable, how if you will listen to what you are being guided to do or say or act or implement, how that will lead to quicker, more exponential, more fluid external results for you. And I will give you 3 ways for you to connect with your own soul wisdom right now, today, or within the next couple of weeks, actually. But you definitely will, there will be some things that you can do today to apply and to connect to your soul wisdom. So I'm really looking forward to sharing with you. See you in a minute. So when I am saying the word soul call, this may resonate with you. You may have different language for this. So first of all, I just want to give you some other ideas, because ultimately when we're talking about soul calls, we're talking about connecting to our deepest self. And so it's about you finding what that means to you, or what the language you would use to connect to your deepest self. So it's ultimately about connecting to your deepest self, which is a soul level self, which is this core level self within you, which is the truth of who you are, really. You might think of it as connecting to your inner wisdom, your higher self, cultivating your intuition, or tapping into some intuitive guidance, or listening to the inner voice within you, receiving soul messages. So, however you would frame this, or you articulate this, is perfect, right? It's really just about you, yeah, kind of getting on board with how powerful you are as a soul, and how powerful your soul is in terms of giving you really super smart, efficient, powerful guidance that, again, not only moves you forward in your external reality in a way that you want, but also feels really good and really aligned for you. And so I will say that sometimes soul guidance can feel a bit uncomfortable. It can also feel a bit random. And so that's okay, right? So ultimately, when we receive a soul level nudge, um, what I'm really going to be speaking to today is more of a daily practice, or sort of tuning into yourself and receiving those soul calls on a daily basis. But you also may receive something much more mm, life changing, or something that, right, maybe it's something like it's time for you to switch careers, it's time for you to start a business, it's time for you to shift this relationship, leave this relationship, find a different relationship, move, right? It could be big things like this. And so those may feel somewhat uncomfortable. But really what I'm speaking about today is really about being in the moment, and what is your soul calling for you right now, and in this moment, in this day, in this week, and these weeks ahead. And so really your soul does love to expand. Your soul loves to feel good. It really wants to feel good and have a really good human experience. And it wants you to feel really aligned and peaceful within yourself. So anytime we are feeling anxious or disconnected, it really means that we are disconnected from our deepest self, or our soul. Again, you can choose. If soul is not the language you would use, then don't use it. But what it really is, this embodied and holistic piece of who you are, right? So this is not mind we're talking about. Higher mind, yes, but really we're talking about this connection to your inner self, your body, your energy. And so I've done lots of videos talking about body here, but soul, right? Soul resides within the body, right? And so when I'm speaking about soul calls, we're really kind of talking about going within. It's why you see me kind of point sort of it towards the heart, or in the solar plexus, right? And so this is where we're kind of tuning into this. I will say you will often get soul guidance or intuitive hits, like it'll feel like it's coming from up here, right? So some higher guidance will kind of float in for you, but it will also often feel very aligned within your body. And so, yeah, in general, these soul calls are going to feel really good for you. And I'm going to give you some examples of what those soul calls could be. And I am going to be sharing some ways for you to kind of connect with this yourself. And just the final piece I want to share before I do that is really that when we will listen to our intuitive soul level guidance, we will create the shortest route possible to what it is that we're wanting. And so whether that is peace, whether that is feeling relaxed within ourselves, whether that is creating some external financial flow, whether it's about expanding our business, whether it is about a health next steps or relationship next steps, is going to be given to you in a way that is much more exponential, and it's more of a direct route to what it is that you're wanting. And so this can be personally and it can be professionally, and it can be a combination of both, and often there's an interconnection there. But really, when it's going to open up flow when you listen to your intuitive guidance or your soul calls. And so even just in this moment, I'm going to weave a bit more of this in a moment, but tune into yourself. Just because we're sitting here in front of a video, I'm going to give you some other things to do that you can do after this video. But maybe place a hand on your heart, hand on your solar plexus, nod your chin to your throat. Just take a couple of breaths to sort of tune into yourself right now. Take just a few breaths. I'm just literally going to do this for 2 minutes. So just let your mind know this is not a big, long meditation. I will point you in the direction of those after. But just tune in right now. And that's one of the best ways for you to connect with your soul level guidance. What do I need to, what do I need to know right now? What would be really helpful for me through the rest of today? What do I need right now? What would feel really good for me? And so just tune into yourself and see what comes up in this moment. It may be something like take a break. It may be something like reach out to so-and-so. It may be like drink some water, right? So just tune into what it is that you're receiving in this moment. What do I need right now? What do I most need to hear? What will help move me forward today? What will open some flow for me? And so just, yeah, see what you receive. I'm going to give you 30 more seconds just to take this little micro moment to receive a soul call. It may feel like you're literally going inside yourself, or you're quieting your mind. Your message, your soul call is not coming from your brain. So if that's where you are, just try to drop into your body if you can, because that is where you're going to receive this message. And again, I'm going to give you ways to do this in a more extended way. We're not putting pressure on this right now. And so if you've got nothing, don't worry about it. This is literally a minute or two to do this. But it's as simple as that, connecting with yourself and with your soul. And you could do this multiple times in your day. And so if something came up, just capture that. I'm going to be talking about that in a moment, but just capture what it is for you, whether that's mentally or you write it down. And what I do want to really share with you is that any guidance that you receive right now is going to be a more expedited route to what it is that you're wanting. So it's so important that you act on this, and it will open up flow, I guarantee you. And so I'm going to give some examples. So for example, and these are examples I've had for myself, my clients have had, right? I see this all of the time. So for me, I often get an inner hit to get outside and go down to the lake. So I'm very fortunate. I live on the lake. And sometimes as I said, sometimes this soul call isn't always comfortable because I also live in Canada and it can be really cold in the winter sometimes. And a lot of times I will ignore that soul call because it's inconvenient for me. So when it's a beautiful sunny day like it is today, easy for me to get outside and go down to the lake. Um, so for me, anytime I will do something like that, uh, I will receive peace and harmony within myself. I will receive some kind of guidance. And I, like 99% of the time, will come back from this time outside, even though I had some to-do list things that I didn't do because I chose to go outside. I will now find in my inbox a payment notification, a request for someone about working together, a nice email from a client thanking me for an experience, a potential opportunity, or a collaboration, right? This is what's happening, and I'm not taking any external actions other than the fact that I went down, stepped away from the computer, went down to the lake. Um, and again, for myself, just give you one more example. Anytime I go away for a few days or I go on vacation, there's always someone when I come back that has booked a consult or a conversation with me. And so this is not, and this may not be what you do in your world, right? You may not have clients and things like that, but just giving you an example, right? There is something that I'm wanting with a lot of ease, and I'm not doing anything to produce it in this moment. Of course, I put some things out in the world and, continue to expand what I'm offering. But in this moment, it's the vacation and this sort of giving myself intuitive space to reconnect to myself that actually is what opens up the flow. And so I see that with my clients all of the time. A lot of times they might be guided to go drink some water, go lie down for a little bit. Often it's about rest. And so again, our egoic mind can be like, I don't have time for that. I have stuff to do. And it always opens up inspiration, creativity, flow, money, whatever it is that they're wanting, and not always exactly the thing that they're wanting to have come in specifically. So maybe it's not money when they want money, but it's a creative idea, which then is going to eventually lead to money coming in, right? Understanding that. So just really understanding the power of listening to this intuitive guidance, because I said sometimes it's not going to seem really applicable to where you are right now. It might seem random, and it might also feel a bit uncomfortable or inconvenient. And so I just want to give you 3 ways for you to connect to the soul level guidance that will feel really good for you. And so the first is to go within. And so some version of this every day, throughout your day, a few times a week, whatever feels like you can do. And it can look like meditation, it can look like reflection, it can look like inner questioning. So I say meditation's fantastic, but there's a lot of people who will turn off as soon as I say that language because they'll be like, I can't do it. My mind is running the whole time, right? So there's lots of ways we can do meditation. We can do guided meditation, we can do chanting, we can do breath work around meditation that opens us up to some quietness. But that's only one option, right? You can have a journal in front of you. You can do some just reflection, sort of stare out the window, little daydream, some inner questioning. So some examples of this could be something like, yeah, what do I most need to know right now? What do I most need right now? Is there something I need to hear in this moment? What is the next best action I can take that will open up some flow? Right? Whatever your inner questioning is, and I'm going to point you in the direction of an inner sort of questioning, inner chamber meditation that I have in the resources here that it's on my channel. But really, it's just about taking a couple of minutes. So this doesn't have to be a 25-minute meditation. It can be, but it's about tuning in. Hands on the body is always really helpful. Just nodding your chin, dropping your out of your head and into your body, and doing some version of a question. And it often could just be even one. And if you will listen to it, you will receive something, right? What do I most need right now? Right? Your mind might be like, I have a to-do list of 20 things, but your mind is like, you need to take a bath. or not your mind. Your soul call is saying, take a bath, right? Or it's saying something like, shut your eyes for a few minutes, or whatever it is. Again, sometimes it's action. It's like reach out to this person, follow up with this person, right? It may be this, but really just allowing yourself to ask the question and then to receive the answer. And so it may come to you immediately, but it also may come to you later throughout the day. So that's a little bit more of a proactive way to accessing this information. And again, it doesn't have to be pressure filled. We don't have to, it doesn't, you're not looking specifically for an answer. You're just creating some space for an answer to emerge. I really just want to highlight that piece. We're not forcing it. If you get nothing, you get nothing. Try again later in the day, try again tomorrow, or just notice that maybe later in the day, something drops in for you. So the second way is to do some version of movement, or going for a walk, or getting in nature, going for a hike. Again, this may not seem applicable to you in your moment, or you may not feel like you have time in your day, but if you may, right? You may have more time than you think. And the recommendation really is to bring some sort of a recording device, right? So that you can capture these intuitive soul calls, right? So often nature is going to, and movement and exercise is going to open up flow. So you could work out in the gym, or you could do something else if you wanted to. Nature, I'm just saying, going for a walk just allows that flow. A lot of people really get these kind of intuitive hits in the shower. So there's lots of ways that these things can come to us. So I'm just giving you some things to think outside the box, right? So the first one is more of like this meditative sitting down practice. The second way to connect is to do something, something embodied, probably. So like a shower is embodied, going for a walk is embodying, exercise is embodied, right? Being in nature, getting yourself sitting under a tree, whatever you want to do, is something that is a doing sort of thing, and that will allow some creativity to open up and some intuitive hits to come through. And then the third one will require a little bit, maybe more planning, or maybe it will be spontaneous, but it will require a little bit more of you. And that is about creating some space for yourself for these soul calls to drop in. So if you have been going with, and just trying to figure things out, or pushing through and not taking any break, any time to rejuvenate. So whether you look at this as a vacation, getting away, that's awesome if you want to do that. It may just be taking a few days off where you shut off all of your electronics, right? You're not engaged with anything electronic. It could just be about boxing your schedule off for a day or two, right? Maybe kind of one of my clients said, I'm playing hooky, right? That idea of just taking a break. And giving yourself, though, a little bit more prolonged period where wisdom and insight and guidance can drop in, where you can really connect with your soul. And again, doing things that you love to do is always going to open up that connection. So if you love music, music can open that up to you. If you love art, right? So being in a space where you see art, you see beauty, whatever it is that you know that feels like a soul level passion or gift or love that you have, if you can create some version of space for yourself to be immersed in something other than your brain, other than your job or your career or your business, just this idea of shutting down the mind, dropping into the body, dropping into something that fuels you, lights you up, and really giving yourself some space. And so the last thing I'll say around that is, that's the most key piece. It's not the amount of time. It's about allowing that space to be there non-negotiably. So if you can only do a half a day, then that's what you do, right? But it's a very intentional and non-negotiable half day that you're taking. And whether that is going for a massage or doing something like that, or just having some time to reflect, but it's making that time only to be open to something that is not mental or linear. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a few ideas around this. And really, ultimately, it's about giving yourself the space, allowing things to drop in, not forcing them to drop in. You have a couple of ideas here. I'm sure you have some ideas of your own. It's about making it important that it's not just about your to-do list or what your boss needs or what your business needs or what your family needs, right? We have lives and we have responsibilities and we have things that need to be done. And we have our own internal, sometimes drill sergeant that's like, this is what needs to have that needs to this is what's important and needs to happen. But we actually have this other CEO inside us, really, that is more powerful and more, as I mentioned, exponential, can get things done much more quickly. But we often aren't giving that inner CEO the time to speak and be heard and allow these insights to come through. And so it's just understanding the importance of it, and that it actually will feel good. And your mind might say, I don't have time to feel good, or I shouldn't, it shouldn't feel this easy, or I shouldn't have this grace in my day or this space in my day. But see if you can push through that, because that's just all egoic chatter. Allow yourself to have this, allow whatever comes through to come through, and allow it to lead the next step, right? So it's take the action, apply whatever is given to you. What is being shared with you today, and will you listen? So it might be take a few breaths, right? When you take a few breaths, that's going to open something else up for you. It may be go lie down for a bit. And as you lie down, you come up with a creative idea. It may be like book a massage for next week. And as you book that massage, all of a sudden you feel a lightness within yourself because you know you have that to look forward to. So that opens up some flow and creativity. And then when you have the massage, you are inspired with something else and it leads to another doorway. And so it's just understanding that these doorways are often unseen to our linear mind, but they feel way better, and they will get you to where you want to go much more quickly. So I hope this will resonate with you today in some way. I hope there's a piece around this that you will take and apply for yourself. And I hope that you receive some version of your inner wisdom soul call, and that you'll listen to it. So I will, as I mentioned, put some other resources here in terms of how you can access that in a form of maybe more of a meditation, a guided questioning. So take a look out for that. And as always, if you have not subscribed and are enjoying this content, love to have you join me. Love to hear any insights, takeaways, any soul calls that you've received in this message or in this video, or that you want to come back and share later. And I just look forward to helping you connect on a deeper level with who you are at your core, what your soul wants and is here to do, and so that you can show up as the biggest, most powerful version of yourself, sharing your gifts with those in the world. So I look forward to seeing you in our next video next week.